thanks a lot for coming. I'm David Norton, and I coordinate the TESOL programs here. So I'm happy to see the small and cozy group of you who have managed to brave the weather to be with us. Thank you. Before we begin, I just wanted to welcome you, and I'm glad we waited a little while. Welcome. Come on in. Grab a seat. So what you're going to hear about today, of course you saw our informational videos, and those individuals were mostly former instructors here. So we're all very proud of the program that we've developed here. So you're going to hear about three of our programs today. You're going to hear about the SMU TESOL program. You're going to hear about the YL TESOL program. You're going to hear about the PL TESOL program. Just a show of hands, how many of you are interested in the SMU program? That's why you're here. Okay, very interesting, very nice. How about the Young Learners program? Young Learners program, okay. How about Play and Learn? Anyone want to Play and Learn TESOL? Interesting. How many have no idea why you're here? You just want to come to the TESOL leaders in Korea, and you saw some of our online information, perhaps. Our social networks. Come on in. Welcome. All right. So, as you saw in the video, we've been around for over 20 years, and we keep developing, we keep creating new TESOL programs, and we continue to dominate this market because of our quality. Welcome. All right. So, without further ado, I'd like to invite my colleague, Eva Combs, tell you a little something about the SMU TESOL program. Eva's our super qualified, super amazing intercultural communications coordinator, CC, and academic skill development. Do you know where you're?
Welcome, guys, and again, thank you for coming out because it is very, very messy outside. So thank you for being here. I'm going to introduce SMU TESOL to you. Our question is, how do the best teachers create a social environment where the most effective language learning can happen? So how do we as teachers create a classroom where students can practice and learn English effectively so that they can use it in their lives? Teachers make better choices when it comes to activities for students, when it comes to interactions with students, because they have more knowledge and experience. So in SMU TESOL, you will gain the knowledge and experience that is necessary to teach your students in the classroom. You have already taken the first step by coming here. So we have really 4 classes at SMU. Methodology, practicum, second language acquisition, intercultural communication, and academic skills development. Methodology, you might notice, has 2 parts. It is a gigantic class. It is the flagship course. Methodology in what? Methodology in teaching people. How do we teach? This is methodology. Why choose SMU TESOL rather than YL or PL? So SMU TESOL, you plan to teach older students, so middle school, high school, secondary, university, and adult. You are unsure of the age that you will teach. You don't know if you want to teach children or high school or adults. We have more universal concepts. If you are interested in working with children or working with young learners, YL. YL is the program for you. If you want to work with secondary or adults, or you don't know, SMU is a good choice. SMU is more general. And SMU, if you are interested in pursuing a master's degree or more graduate education. What will you get? 19 weeks times 12 hours of class per week, 220 hours of class. Now, if you have 12 hours a week of class, it's an intensive program. I'm going to talk to you just a little bit about each of the classes. So methodology 1 and 2. Methodology, in methodology, you will learn how to teach. So you will learn the techniques that you use with students in the classroom. You will learn how to make activities, how to do activities, how to plan activities, so that they'll be successful. Methodology literally is how to teach. The three questions for SMU are, what do we believe about teaching? What do you believe about teaching? How should a teacher be? What should a teacher think? What should a teacher believe about teaching and about students? The second question is, what do good teachers do? This is methodology. What do good teachers do in the classroom to help students learn? And finally, what do we know about teaching? So what research, what theories, what has been shown and proven to work in teaching? Second language acquisition is how people learn languages. So all of our classes are research and theory based, but they are practical. So it is based in theory and research, but what does that mean in the classroom? What does that mean when you're choosing what to do with students? Second language acquisition is how people learn languages. You will understand, you will learn how to use memory to your advantage. So how do students remember? How do students, how do they practice and acquire language? What motivates students? How do you motivate students? Can a teacher from Korea teach English? If you are a first language Korean speaker and a second language English speaker, can you teach English? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. And we will teach you how to do that. We will teach you what is strong about being a Korean. In the various programs, we will analyze student error, how to correct students effectively, and how to help students so that they are not scared of learning English. Learning should be motivating, and it should be fun. People should want to learn. And we will teach you how to help people do that. What is the best motivation for learners? This is just a question I want you to think about in your minds. What motivates students? What motivates you to be here? Why are you in this room? What motivates you? What motivates your students? Intercultural communication, which I am the coordinator for, identity, culture, and context in the classroom and between people. So how is the classroom a social learning environment? What relationships between you and your students and between one student and another student in your classroom? What about communicating in English with the world? Who speaks English? Who uses English? All of you should raise your hand for that. Where is culture? How does culture influence the classroom? One activity that we will do is a field trip to the National Museum, where we will look at culture as well as in the classroom, outside of the classroom. How do we understand culture? How does it influence what we do? How does it influence our students when they go out into the world and speak English? I would say one of the most important words for SMU TESOL is negotiation. You will find this word in methodology. It's a very important word in SLA. It's a very important word. And in ICC, it's a very important word. Culture, language, meaning is created by negotiation. This is why you do better when you're talking with somebody else than when you're trying to record a presentation, kind of like what I'm doing right now. This is why it's easier. This is why it's easier. Language is negotiation. Language is back and forth. And we will find this in all SMU courses as something very, very important. I am also the coordinator for academic skills development. In academic skills development, you will work on your own academic skills. So your own writing, and there is writing in this class, in this course. Your own writing, your own language, your own language. This is not something that just non-native speakers need to work on. Academic discourse is something everyone needs to work on. No one is born knowing how to write academically. So in this class, it is not extra to the other classes. It is meant to help you to work on assignments in your other classes, to facilitate that in your other classes. But I am biased towards ICC. I really do like ICC. I'm the ICC coordinator. However, I think the most important class, even more important than methodology, is practicum. Practicum is a tiny, tiny class compared to the others. But this is why I think it's the most important. In practicum, you will practice teaching. You will actually get up in front of other people and practice leading and facilitating activities. This will be with your classmates. The first one is always very scary, especially since we video record them. But the most important, why? Why is practicum the most important class? Practicum, practice. Practicum is where you use the things in all of the other classes. It is where you, especially if you have never taught before, it is where you get over your fear of being up in front of people. I can tell you, the first time that I taught, I could not be speaking to you like I am now. That is for sure. That is for sure. I think I was red the entire first time. Here is where you practice. If you are an in-service teacher, if you have some experience teaching, this is where you will improve and refine your skills and make them better. Everyone can always improve. You can improve, I can improve, Dave can improve, everyone can improve. That's what we do in practicum. That's what we're doing. You will also reflect. By reflecting, you get better. You look at what you have done, and you do better next time. These are pictures of students reflecting. A lot of people at the end of the program, they tell us, we ask them, what did you find the most useful? Most people will say practicum and reflection. Practicum and reflection. Because all of the knowledge in the world is not useful unless you can do it, unless you can practice. We also have TESOL Live. So it is exactly the same courses, exactly the same content over the internet. So if you have an incredibly busy life, if you have 10 children running around, or even just one child running around, or very busy work schedules, this might be an option for you. If you live very far away and it's difficult for you to get here, this might be an option for you. So it is the same courses, the same content, just all done over the internet. It's very interactive. So video, you'll be able to see the instructor, you'll be able to see the other students. You'll be able to work on things and see what everyone is working on together. Online technology is much more advanced than it has been in the past, so it can be very interactive. So back to the first question. How do the best teachers create a social environment where the most effective language learning can happen? They know how to grow as teachers, and they know how to change their world. Redefining your tomorrow, which is our slogan. We also offer a lot of great free workshops. These are last term's posters, but we will have some coming for the next term. And anyone, any student, any person walking off the street can come and join us for these free workshops if you are interested. So we offer those as well. I will give you, okay, I'll skip it. All right. All right. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Professor Collins. If I may, I will tell you about the Young Learners Program in just a moment. Just to clarify a tiny thing here, when we talk about our online options, you can, this mostly refers to our blended option, which is possible. The name's a little misleading, which is why I'm clarifying it here. So if you're interested in SMU TESOL, you can say, is there a blended option available where we are online Wednesday night and in person on all day Saturday? So you can do this for SMU. We occasionally offer it for the Young Learners Program as well. And then if you're interested in doing something completely online, that's a program called TESOL Live, okay, which is available on demand. All right. And I would love to tell you about our Young Learners Program. Okay. Raise your hand if you like children. Okay, all right, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, there's some good ones and not so great ones, I suppose. But if you know you're committed to teaching specifically elementary school students, so your young kids, right? That would be a Young Learners TESOL program. Now, if you're interested in pre-kindergarten, so the really, really young students, that's PL. And I'll take you through what some of that means. And our colleague Kara is going to jump out of class a little bit later and tell you about PL. So, similar visual if you're still on the fence and you're not sure. Once again, if you plan to teach young, you should consider the Young Learners program. If you plan to teach really young students, consider the Play and Learn program, that's PL. If you want the best certificate for teaching young learners that we offer, that's our full Young Learners program. And if you get a chance, you could even wander up to the 3rd floor and see what's going on with those young learner students. Don't go in their classroom, but smile. Okay, they always have a good time. If you only have 12 weeks, but you're interested in getting some level of qualification, you only have a short time, then Play and Learn can be appropriate. Often we get mothers who are interested in teaching their kids, or people who are just doing something with their little kids in that area, in their neighborhood. They're busy working moms, this kind of thing. Or you're doing something else and you want an additional certificate. All right. So I'm going to tell you about Young Learner TESOL. That's not me. That's lovely lady. Okay? And the Young Learner TESOL program, it's identical in length to the SMU TESOL program. So it's the full 19 weeks. And if you're wondering how we arrive at that, some of you calculating, wait a second, that's not 220 hours. We take away some hours for assessment. So that's technically like 228. All right, so these are the courses. As a coordinator, I also teach some of these courses, and I'm a big fan of both programs. But the Young Learners program is really good for things like literacy development. So in the literacy class, teaching about reading and writing and storytelling. Storytelling is very popular. One of our current faculty members, Mr. Eli Miller, has a famous storytelling workshop that everybody loves. So how do you tell stories in English to your children? Right? And how do we teach them how to read and write and develop a level of literacy, even at a young age? Because as you know, children who are reading in any language, even their first language, have higher literacy skills, and they do much better when they acquire a second language. Okay. Classroom English. Classroom English is a very practical course. Classroom English is about teaching English in English. What's the kind of classroom language that we use? It's also a very practical course. So that's where you distinguish between the language that's required for teaching and the language that's required for everyday classroom interactions. Welcome, welcome. Curriculum. I'm currently teaching the curriculum course. This is where you learn how to plan lessons. Because even though we're working with children, fun is not enough. Am I right? Just saying, hey, we're going to have some fun, that's just not enough. So this is where we learn how can we plan effective lessons specific to the age of children that we're interested in teaching, and how that might be different from teaching adults or different from teaching teenagers, for example. So language acquisition theories, theory for short, is similar to what Eva Combs was talking about, the second language acquisition course in SMU TESOL. So this is where you learn the theories behind the teaching that we're doing. Okay. Classroom management, one thing that's specific to young learners is that sometimes we have to deal with their behavior in certain ways, and we have to motivate them in certain ways. This is not to say that we don't have to motivate or encourage adults to find their own motivation, but with children, we have to be really clever about it. Because they don't usually come to classes because they want to. So we have to kind of give them reasons to educate themselves. Child development and teaching. This is a really cool course. I'm also teaching this course at the moment. CDT for short. This is where you learn. We have resources that tell you, oh, this is how a 7-year-old learns. This is what a 7-year-old is going to be doing. This is what a 7-year-old can be expected to do at this age, a typical 7-year-old. So we go through all the ages and what they can do at different levels, and specifically, what does it mean to observe children and to support them and to challenge them, and finding that balance between challenge and support. We can throw a little theory in there. We've got Vygotsky, if anyone's familiar. We have a little bit of Bloom. Bloom's taxonomy is also in there. Montessori, any of these names ring a bell? They're part of the CDT course. Okay, that's the Young Learner TESOL program. Working with children, how that's different from working with adults, right? What can we expect them to do at certain ages? Here's classroom management again. This is a fun little activity that they do in classroom management. Who am I? Here's my picture. Here's my images that represent me. And cute little child handwriting. Oops. Language acquisition theories. So how do we teach listening and speaking according to certain theorists? Curriculum development, lesson planning. I like this image because it shows you sometimes we're interested in students working alone, but there's a way to build to that. The whole class is working on something, small groups working on something, maybe just pairs, and then finally they can do it on their own. That's through a procedure we call scaffolding, right? And this visual represents a main theory in the literacy development course. So, how to choose a book. Oh look, I know all the words on the first page. This is too easy. Over here, there are 5 or more words that I don't know on the first page. That's too difficult. Here, there are a couple of new words. That's probably just right. So if it's here, if they know all the words, are they learning? No, they can just have a good time reading. Sometimes that's important. But if we want them to develop, there should be a couple new words in there that they can maybe figure out from context or other strategies. That's a little free literacy lesson. You can take that with you. All right. Classroom English we talked about. Making concepts clear. Now in a moment, my colleague, Kara Wagner, who is currently in class, is going to tell you about the Play and Learn TESOL program. Play and Learn TESOL, just generally speaking, is a lot shorter than the Young Learners program. Okay, it's short and sweet, and you get graduation and you can put on the cap and gown in just 12 weeks. Okay, and it includes 4 content courses, which Kara is an expert about. One thing I like about Play and Learn is that it's very practical. There's lots of materials. There's lots of... It's the kind of thing, it's about making students happy, right? And people come for a short period of time. And we have a new group of interested people in our audience today. If you just came in recently, raise your hand if you're interested in Play and Learn. Okay? You just came in recently. SMU? Anybody? One SMU over there. Okay. YL, Young Learners? Okay, all right. That's about right. Well, Play and Learn is super fun. The classes are joyful classroom, storytelling, creative teacher workshop, English for learning. English for Learning is kind of the shorter version of when we talk about classroom English in the Young Learners program. How do we teach English in English? Any current teachers out there right now? No current teachers, okay. Current teachers are shy, that's okay. Often in the classrooms here in Korea, people are teaching English, they're using a lot of Korean in the process of teaching English, which makes sense, right? If you have certain goals you have to meet quickly. But this is where we say, look, you can do all of those things in English if you do so appropriately. Teaching English in English. Creative Teachers Workshop, this is often the PL students' favorite, because PL students get to make puppets, they make lots of great things, very hands-on, a lot of construction paper, scissors. PL students have to bring with them all the time scissors and glue and that kind of stuff, because they're doing this kind of thing. They make cats, they make dolls, they make all kinds of stuff. So creating materials and hands-on activities, that would be Creative Teachers Workshop. Storytelling, bringing stories to life. So this is where we learn how do we actually tell a story, just like in Young Learners program, but this is all about storytelling. How do we tell stories in an engaging way? How loud should we tell stories to children? Should we change our voices for the different characters? I'm not going to demonstrate it. You know what a bad guy sounds like. Okay? This gentleman used to work here in the Play and Learn program. He's now telling stories to kids in Vietnam. Joyful classroom. Raise your hand if you like happiness. Well, your students will like happiness too, especially children. They want it to be fun, but this is how we create the conditions for learning to happen. It's not just fun, right? And that's what joy looks like. That's a joyful classroom, looks like this. Have you ever seen a classroom that's not joyful? Yeah, it looks kind of like that. Don't let the kids walk all over you. You're in charge, but you're approachable, okay? One thing that's the same for both Play and Learn and Young Learners is activities, activities, activities. We learn by doing. We learn by making. Both of these Young Learner programs are very, very practical. There's some theory in there, but it's all about what can I take into the classroom the next day? How can I use the activities that we talked about in class in my own classroom? So there's a lot of physical stuff, a lot of things that you can touch, a lot of materials, a lot of activities. It's a great, fun set of programs. Thanks for coming by. But we're not done. We're not done, because what's going to happen next is perhaps Hassel will talk to you, or this will talk to you about a few things, and then you will actually split off, and people who are interested in YLPL will go to one room where our student volunteers, actual students who are studying right now, will be able to talk to you, student to potential future students, and tell you what really goes on here, okay? And we'll be milling about if you have any questions for us, okay? But first, I'm sure Alyssa has something she'd like to share.
궁금하신 거 있으면 저희 행정실 이번 학기에도 졸업생님께서 한 분 가셔서 티칭을 하고 있고 저희 그 인터뷰는 홈페이지에 올라와 있어서 더 궁금하신 분들 많이 찾아보시면 됩니다. 그리고 가장 관심을 많이 가지시는 게 아무래도 취업일 텐데요. 저희가 멘토십 프로그램을 진행하고 있습니다. 그래서 졸업하신 분들과의 만남을 통해서 공부법, 진로, 취업, 공무원 기관 갔다 오신 분, 공무원 창업 실제로 하고 계시는 분들이랑 연계해서 다양한 특강들을 하고 있고요. 그 다음에 자벤 북페어가 저희 내에 굉장히 큰 매 학기 열리고 있는데요. 영어 교육 관련 신규 도서 제가 졸업생이고요.